Hello, my name is Naomi Richardson, and welcome to the last episode of the Power of Girlhood YouTube series for the year 2022. Today, I will be interviewing Elise Androsian, a senior at Wayne State University who is studying chemical engineering. We will be discussing how environmental awareness and chemical engineering go hand in hand in the communities we live in. Our sponsors are Rose Cass, founder of LBI Backstage, and Bridget Lyons. How are you today, Elise?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to answer these questions?
Yes.
So, question number one, you had an internship at Henkel as a laboratory analyst. What made you choose chemical engineering as your major? And what experiences did you have at the internship that you use today when creating designs as a student? Also, if you would like to explain what things you did at Henkel, that would also be great. I'm
Okay.
excited.
So I guess to start, I would say that chemical engineering, it took me a lot to figure out that this is what I wanted to do. And I'm still learning what we're doing, even as a senior. There's so many different types of jobs that I could be working at, but I guess all the way back in high school, I was always in advanced chemistry classes, and that really sparked my interest. And it wasn't until I went to a community college and had to take math classes that I realized how good I was at math. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for school and what I wanted to be. Originally, I was going to be a doctor of pharmacy, and then I was thinking further about it. Medical school is very competitive, and I just wasn't sure if that's the type of industry that I wanted to be in. My mom is a nurse. I am familiar with the medical field. I just wasn't sure it was for me.
Yeah.
So I was exploring more about different majors, and I seen that chemical engineering really puts your chemistry and math together, and those are my strong suits. So I thought this is perfect for me. Let's do it. So that's how I started. And then my junior year, so I would say the entire year of 2021, I had an internship at Henkel. It's it is a global company, and they specialize in adhesive technologies. Um, so, what I did was I worked in a lab as a laboratory analyst, and I had one mentor and one boss. It was kind of a small department. I was in the accelerated testing laboratory, just two labs.
Fancy.
And yeah, so what I did there was pretty routine. Customers would send in samples of metal that were treated by the treatments that we would sell to them. So they would treat their metals, send us a little sample of it to test the coating. So we would test the coating weight, so how well the treatment stuck to the metal. So by doing that, I would use a lot of different methods. So there was spectrometers. Um, I used a scanning electron microscope, which takes very uh, close images of the crystals on the surface. And then I would use wet chemistry for like cast iron metals. So that consisted of um, dipping this sample metal into a huge vat of heated chromic acid, which is it can be very unsafe. It is a carcinogen, and it was very hot. So I would have to titrate that in another lab. So I got a lot of experience with lab methods, activities, just etiquette in an industrial lab. Um, and I guess the skills that I learned there, I would say I think about safety more when I'm doing a chemical process design. And also, I learned how to communicate with other departments. So, interdepartmental communication, that's very important. It makes your workday just go so much smoother. And yeah, I guess that's all I can think of at the moment.
That's great because you were really using math and just putting it at the forefront. So, question number 2, environmental awareness is something that isn't mentioned as much as it should be. What are 5 rules of thumb you live by as someone who has the proper knowledge and experience to make environmental awareness a priority?
First of all, I tell everybody how their actions are affecting our environment. I feel like I have learned so much that whenever I see something that I know something about, I'll just blurt it out, or I will tell people, hey, make sure you turn those lights off. Hey, it's important. A lot of people don't understand that one person's actions really does make a huge difference. So I'm
Yeah,
always trying to have people recycle, which you have to rinse your food residue out of your containers before you recycle. Um, I don't drive unless I have to. I try to carpool as much as possible. Let me think. I definitely try to not use single-use plastics. So I bring my lunch to work. I have a silverware set that I take, which is used from recycled, or it's made from recycled materials. I just try to make sure that I'm not creating waste, and that I am trying to keep my materials in use for as long as possible.
that's amazing. That is sustainability right there, which goes into the next question. Describe sustainability and how it contributes to engineering and the environment on a global scale. You don't have to really go into it, but the answers you have been giving are so helpful.
I'm gonna say sustainability has multiple aspects. So there's environmental, economic, and social. Globally, I would say for a circular economy, not many people really know what that means, but it's just so that you are not creating waste, so that you're keeping your products in use for as long as possible before having to throw them away or recycle them to reduce waste. And let me think, in engineering, in my field of engineering, I would say to try to be more sustainable. I would say like process design. There's a lot of processes, especially in the petrochemical industry, like oil refineries, BP Marathon, you name it. There's a lot of equipment, and that equipment uses water, it uses fuel, electricity. The best thing to do to be sustainable is to use less. And then the next thing would be to prevent any emissions from those processes from affecting the environment, which happens more than people would think. And I think focusing on process, pre process, and post process sustainability is the best way to do it in engineering. Globally, I think more people should be aware of what environmental friendly things they can be doing, how to reduce their environmental impact. And it's important. It is.
Yeah, thank you. And the last question before we end, it is a short episode because, Christmas. So, as a second generation Armenian woman who studies chemical engineering, a male dominated industry, what are a few things that continuously keep you moving forward towards the future when it comes to how you are treated?
So, as a woman in STEM, period, there is not that many of us. There's not. And I would like to see more representation of women, especially Armenian women. Yes, yes,
Yes.
because there are really not that many as you would think. So, despite that, I think that there's a lot of diversity and inclusion factors industrially. There's a lot of meetings about it in industry. Everybody knows what it is, but the way that it's practiced is not always the same. So for me as a woman, I've noticed that people don't directly say things to you. It's more shown in their attitude, their bias kind of against you as a woman. I haven't really had that much experience in industry, but I know that, like, for instance, you can have a female or a male boss, doesn't matter, but there can be you and your coworker, and my coworker would be a man or something, and they would give me an easier task than my male coworker because I'm a woman. They don't think I'm capable. So I think that is something that needs to be addressed. Even like just unconscious bias, that should be something that is more,
Yes.
Brought to the surface. Diversity and inclusion obviously is so important, but nobody really, all they focus it on is what not to do. They don't really give you examples of certain things that can be inclusive. So I think like bringing more positive and more good examples of what that looks like should be something that they are training and doing and even incorporating in schools before you go out into the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then like academically in my classes, I would say there's 5 girls in my class, and I have a graduating class of 23 people. So small. But like I've noticed the guys, they will not ask me to be their partner. It's always the girls saying, "Hey, can I be in your group?" Or we just make our own group because no one asks us. But the men have no problem asking us for help or how to do something. But then they kind of just like don't include us when it comes to groups, which
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's hurt my feelings in the past, but I think that's something that people should be more aware of, even if they're not doing it intentionally. So yeah, just like biases and whatnot.
Thank you so much. Yes. That's a really I think that's a pretty big issue in like the STEM industry. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. It is such an honor. I literally love hearing about the facts, environmental awareness, and sustainability. I always try my best, to be someone who's environmentally aware. If you would like to say your LinkedIn for new connections, that'd be great.
Okay, so my LinkedIn is Elise Androsian. I'm not sure if my name is shown, but
It is.
it is. Okay, so it's just that name. I do have a little picture on there. Should look like me. But yeah, I'm still developing my LinkedIn. I'm soon to graduate, so this semester is like my focus in on my career and my applications, my LinkedIn, my networking, most of it. So I'm pretty motivated, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Happy holidays.